So while I was at university, I was studying a course called Fashion Atelier, and it was focused around creating garments using traditional techniques such as tailoring or corsetry and really adding a slow approach to sewing. It is more traditional than what you would typically see in a fast fashion garment. We might buy clothing which has suitable fabric but may be damaged, and we ensure that everything is coming from a reliable source. We also get fabrics by donations. We've had quite a lot of donations to the studio. I've even raided my mum's sewing kit, which has been quite fun. But everything comes from a source where it is likely to be thrown away. So a sector fashion brand is where normally in a fast fashion brand you would buy the materials, and the materials will already go through a lengthy process where they would be dyed, cut. A lot of companies will buy, large batches, sometimes not buy them all. Out of all fabrics, about 40% of the material woven together is actually faulty and won't be given to the company, which already creates a lot of wastage. And then with this process, obviously it goes through selling, but if the stock doesn't sell, some companies have been known for burning it or just keeping it in the back of a warehouse or just throwing it to the landfill, which isn't very good. Or there is the process where you buy a garment and then you throw it away. In some cases it does get to that stage where it's second hand, but sometimes through second hand it can also go to rag. What we aim to do is we aim to grab the fabric or the material before it gets to that point where it gets thrown away and sent to landfill. So we kind of break the loop from where it is at end point and restart it again where we start making new garments and repairing them. So the process is that we have a set of block patterns where we've designed these patterns where they'll be normally quite oversized, comfortable clothing which uses up as much material as possible without creating too much wastage. And from the block pattern we then pick out our materials which we believe might be suitable for each thing. In a lot of our garments you'll notice a lot of panelled areas where there might be some sleeves sliced off or something like that, and then they're rebrought together with other materials or remnant pieces. We also like to keep the salvaged edges because they're already finished off and it adds quite a nice touch to the garment. As well, we decide if we order a big dead stock order, we do design a lot of kind of similar garments, but then they end up becoming more merged together with other fabrics or with paneling and stuff dependent on how much material we have. So normally where we have the block pattern, we then look at the amount of material we have, and it kind of decides what size the garment is going to be, what length, what features we add on. So every garment comes from the same basis, but dependent on the material we receive, we then decide what those extra design features will be. The process is probably most lengthy when it is coming to cutting out, just because it becomes a little bit of a minefield, a little bit of a puzzle where you have to piece together these little bits, fill in these little gaps, decide what you want it to be, how long, etc, etc. So that is probably the most lengthy part. But altogether, it probably takes maybe a few days really to kind of get a big box up. Maybe it takes a few days to kind of decide what that garment is going to become. We don't just immediately see it and cut it out, we do think about it, and we just sort of do little bits at a time. So before we even sew in our labels, we look at every single garment, give it a good press, make sure that all of the seams are nicely done, everything's sewn together correctly, and just make sure that it has a nice silhouette and it's easy to put on. So every garment goes through a fitting before it gets sent away, where each garment isn't individual, all of the sizes are completely different. So on our website we do measure out each garment for their different sizes, so that if you are interested in purchasing, you are able to measure the garment to your own requirements. All of the materials do get pre-washed, so everything should already have shrinkage in it, so they should be safe to wash, but we don't advertise how to wash the garments as every material we use is different, so it's down to your own discretion.